How do you wake up in the morning with all these opportunities in life in front of you and decide, you know what, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to stay in bed today? How do you do that? No, don't do that. The opportunities are there, life is there. Get up and live it.
That is a podcast from today from the man who was the commander of the most decorated special ops unit during the Iraq War. And in a brand new book that comes out today, he's using everything he learned overseas to inspire young children to become more confident.
Joining us with more about the motivational story is former Navy SEAL and author of Way of the Warrior Kid, Jocko Willink. Thanks so much, Jocko, for being with us. And thank you, first of all, for serving our country.
It was an honor to serve.
Right. Tell us about your new book.
Well, you know, being in the SEAL teams, I learned a lot of stuff, and having 4 children, I learned a lot of stuff.
4 girls, too.
Yeah, well, actually 3 girls, 1 boy,
Oh,
and I learned a lot there, too. And at some point, I realized I should take the lessons that I learned in the SEAL teams and teach those to my kids as they were trying to overcome challenges, and it was effective for them. So eventually I said, you know what, maybe I should try and teach some other kids some of these lessons.
So were you born strong, courageous, and bold?
I certainly was not. You know, I was born weak and wimpy like all children. And I had to work and train and study to learn things and improve myself and get in the SEAL teams. You know, when you're in the SEAL teams, it doesn't mean you're automatically strong. Everybody that's in the SEAL teams, you work, you train, you work out. That's how you get strong. And a lot of people think that you're just born with it. And that's one of the big messages in the book is no one's just born with it. You got to work for it.
You do indeed. And in fact, this book starts out, it's about a young man who doesn't have much going. He can't do a pull-up or anything like that. And then it turns out a Navy SEAL comes into his life and changes everything.
Yeah, his Uncle Jake, who just got out of the SEAL teams, comes to stay with him for the summer. And his uncle finds out that he's getting picked on in school, and he can't do any pull-ups, and he doesn't even know how to swim, and he doesn't know his times tables. We know that's a disaster when you're in 5th grade if you don't know your times tables. And the kid is really bummed out. The kid's name is Mark, and he kind of explains this to his uncle. And then his uncle says, listen, you don't need to worry about these things. What you need to do is do work. And so they get busy over the summer. They study hard. They train hard. They learn how to swim. He learns jiu-jitsu so he can defend himself because he's also getting picked on by the evil Kenny Williamson, the bully in the book.
That darn Kenny.
Kenny, yeah, evil guy, evil
Jocko,
guy.
tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a Navy SEAL and what you did to serve our country.
Well, I grew up in a small New England town, and ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be some kind of commando. And so, as I grew up, when I got done with high school, I joined the Navy and went in the SEAL teams, and I had a great career working with great people and was lucky enough to serve overseas and fight against our nation's enemies.
When did you realize you had what it took to become a Navy SEAL? Everyone could want to be a commando. When did you realize you had it?
I don't know that there was ever any doubt in my mind. You know, when you go through SEAL training, people say, everybody thinks about quitting sometimes. And I can tell you right now, I didn't think about quitting at all. I just wanted to be a commando. That's what I wanted to do. And if whatever they told me to do, I did it.
All right, don't ring the bell, they say. As I was reading the Admiral McCraven book, you can ring the bell and get out of this. Here's a little of Jocko being motivational like he does on a regular basis on his podcast, one of the most popular podcasts in the country.
The weakness is like a little demon in your head. It's going to tell you nice little things to try and steer you down the wrong path. But the demon is a liar. Don't listen to the lies. Instead, crush the demoniac.
All right, that's the Instagram account. Do you scare yourself? Because I'm a little scared.
You know, there's a lot of funny ones on there, too. I don't always act that crazy. I do sometimes, though. We got to give that up.
Sure, that's a good strategy. Is it true that you take a picture of your watch every morning so that you can tell your podcast audience what time you got up and started the day to be an inspiration to people?
You know, I did it. I started doing it. I was on Tim Ferriss's podcast a long time ago, and he asked me what time I got up, and I said early, and so he said I needed to get a Twitter account. I didn't really understand Twitter. And then so I signed up for this Twitter thing, and I said, what am I going to put on this? And I woke up in the morning, and I said, oh, well, I'm up. Let's take a picture of that. And I've done it every day since, and that's the way it works.
What time did you get up today?
Today I got up at like 4:10.
In one of your videos, you say, don't stay in bed. I mean, even on vacation, you're up at 4:30 in the morning.
What do you mean by vacation?
I know.
Could you expand on that?
See? You make us feel so lazy. This is
Day
what
off.
separates you, the men, from the boys. Now, your good friends, your best friend is Leif, and Leif is married to Jenna Lee, who
Indeed.
is one of the anchors here at Fox. And we congratulate you on your first book, Extreme Ownership. It did so well. You sold 250,000 copies.
We sold more than that.
More
we
than
sold
that?
a lot of copies. That is still
How
selling
many
really
did you
well.
sell?
I don't know, but it's over 500,000 at this point.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Let's talk about something else you have an expert in the war. The war hasn't stopped, even though you're not in camouflage anymore. We saw Secretary of Defense Mattis say we still have a long haul in Afghanistan. What's the best way forward there, knowing they're training in Pakistan, coming into Afghanistan, and they're still killing our guys?
You know, the first thing that we've got going for us right now is a guy like General Mattis, who is one of the most respected people in the military that the military's produced in so long.
And he's been empowered by this president.
And he's been completely empowered by this president. So we're in a really good position. They're going to come up with a really good strategy, and they're going to press. And, you know, our forces, American forces, if we give them what they need, and we as a people have the will to back them up, they will get the job done.
Okay.
Well, the book is called Way of the Warrior Kid. It's a novel. Jocko, we thank you very much for your service and for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on.
Jocko.
Helping the next generation of
Absolutely.
Jockos. All right,
He
thanks
looks
so much.
fresh as a daisy despite getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right, that's
How do you
sleeping-
like being called a daisy?
Oh, I just love that.
Right.
We'll talk later.
Okay, sorry.